I went to college at Fairleigh Dickinson University. My major was business management. Security was always very easy for me. I used to do it on a much lower scale, where I had friends that would live in Los Angeles and come to New York with other friends in different businesses, whether it was music, the music industry, or in film or TV. There were actors or producers. Because my job is not just security, it is also assisting and being a liaison between my client and his job. I do everything you could think of, from waking him up to putting him to sleep. It's a very long day, it's 12 to 15 hours. The first day that I showed up to work on the first movie that I worked on, I came in suit and tie, because at that point all of my security jobs that were formal, I was dressed completely in a black suit, white shirt, black tie. And when I picked up my client, he looked at me like I was an idiot. Throughout the filming, I realized that there's a lot of times where there's downtime and there isn't much to do. And I was okay with that. However, I also knew that I felt like it made me expendable. Well, in the security field, I mentioned it before, there's a saying, you plan for the worst and you hope for the best, and then you pray while you're in between. Well, you're always planning anyway, as if every single person is a threat, regardless of where you are and what you're doing, so it doesn't change anywhere you go. My movie experience changed drastically after working on set, because I got to see just how much was happening when they were filming and just how long or how many opportunities they had to do it. Each setup or each scene or things like that. So when I continued to watch movies past that first movie experience of working on a movie, I watched just how crappy people really were, and I started watching different things like, how's the lighting in the room? And this is me just doing security, where I'm watching everybody and watching the different shots that are used, the editing of the film. Why, when I was watching it the first time, did I say, wow, you're really dramatic when you do that line. You don't have to be that dramatic. Then realizing after I watched it, oh, that's why. Meeting Nelson Mandela probably is and was the greatest experience of my life, as far as meeting someone who my children, my children's children, that everyone that I'll ever encounter will talk about in a way that almost is as if they don't exist. And I'll be able to say I met him and I spoke to him. Well, during the second movie that I did, I met someone that I started to look around and see because there's so many people that work on films, and you couldn't imagine just how many people it takes to do a production. I started to look around at what different people did, and I met this executive producer. His name is Kevin Delanoy, and I was fascinated with how his brain worked. And he was basically in charge of everything in the movie, and when I say everything, it was what we're filming on this day, where we're filming it, how we're going to move the crew there. He was in charge of all that, and he had what was a very large, what I call a large brain, where he could process all those different things, and that's why he's been as successful as he is in the business. He does very big movies. So I started to think, man, I could produce movies. What people don't know about producing is everyone's a producer to a certain extent, because if you do a job and you create results, you've produced results. And any passion that anybody has, the one piece of advice I would give is to never, it's totally cliche, but is to never give up.